Hello, my beautiful king, Zayo Kang here, back with another video. I'm back with Dead by Daylight. It's been a while since we've done Dead by Daylight on this channel. I think we did it like once before whenever I asked myself who would I be able to beat in a fight. Like personally, me personally, like in real life, would I be able to defeat any of these killers in real life? So yeah, it's been a long time since I've done that, since I've done Dead by Daylight on this channel. A while ago, I said that Dead by Daylight is my favorite multiplayer game of all time. Is that still true? Yes, it is. I love this game a lot, even if, behavior is making weird decisions, like for some reason firing the guy who made, or firing the person who made all of the unknown teasers, despite the fact that they were amazing. But with that out of the way, so what are we here to do today? We're here to do something pretty special. We're going to be sorting each Dead by Daylight killer by what Lantern Corps I think they'd be a part of, because the Lantern Corps are an interesting part of like the DC universe, where essentially each core like represents a feeling or an emotion on like the emotional spectrum, right? And essentially what it does is if you exude a sort of like emotion very well, like hope, if you exude a lot of hope or exude a lot of love, or like if you're great at instilling fear in people, what it essentially does is a ring will come down representing that emotion of a certain color, and it'll place itself on your finger, and congratulations, you're now a part of that. You're now a part of that sort of system and that sort of core now, and you serve that core. Essentially what I decided to do is I decided to take the killers of Dead by Daylight and put them on the core, and put them on a core and sort them out that way. That's because I thought it'd be interesting, I thought it'd be fun. Hopefully you think it's fun, right? A few warnings, I guess. One, I am versed. I'm not poorly versed, but I'm not well versed in lore from Dead by Daylight. I am versed in the lore of Dead by Daylight. There are some killers that I know a lot about. There are some killers I know a little about, right? I'd say it's pretty even. Like I've like knocked out some of the killers really quickly. Like I've knocked out some of the killers because like I don't know enough about them as people, or about them just in general to like say who or what Lantern Corps they'd be a part of. So yeah, there's that. But like I'm gonna try my best with what I know and what I bothered to learn today before recording this, in order to make a good judgment on who these characters and killers would be. So without further ado, people, I hope you enjoy this video, and yeah, let's begin. Alright folks, first up on the list is Evan Peters, aka the Trapper, and I put him in the Indigo Tribe, aka the Compassion Tribe. So, for those guys who do not know, essentially every other Lantern Corps is like an army for that specific emotion, right? Is an army filled with people who know will, hope, people who know hope, rage, people who know rage, so on and so forth, right? Every single Lantern Corps is like that, except for the Indigo Tribe. The Indigo Tribe is more like a prison/correctional facility of like the Lantern Corps, right? Where instead of seeking out people who show a lot of compassion, it seeks out people who they believe deserves to like know more and learn more and have more compassion. So it's like the penance stare. It's like Ghost Rider's penance stare, right? Where like it seeks out people who have committed great sin, or like have done something truly heartless and emotionless, right? And it imprints himself onto that person, and then that person is forced to feel the sins and the wrongness, and it's forces them to feel empathy for everything they've done wrong. And I feel like Trapper deserves all of that, right? Because I learned this today, that apparently he was a union buster, right? Where first he supported the union, he supported everyone who worked in the mines and all that, but then his dad did something, and that caused him to be like, oh yeah, I want to follow my dad now. That's great, I want to follow my dad now. My dad is the best, despite the fact that he's a union buster, so I'm going to start busting unions for him, right? And that ended in sort of the massacre in the in the mines, right? And all that, and he did some really bad stuff. And I feel like because of this really bad thing he did, I feel like Trapper is overdue for like learning some empathy and to join the Indigo Lantern Corps, just to be punished for all of his sins and for what he's done, and to serve out like a life sentence with the Indigo Lantern Corps, right? I know there are a lot of killers on this list that probably deserve to be in the Yellow Lantern Corps. I'm only going to say this for people who I believe truly deserve it, and I believe Trapper is one of those people who truly deserve it. Next up, we got the Wraith. And the Wraith, I always believed, deserved to be in, like, either the Blue Lanterns or the Green Lanterns, right? Because he did have hope, right? Like, he had, like, in his lore, he essentially survived a really horrible thing that happened to him in Nigeria. He moved to America, hoping for a better life, and then another horrible thing happened to him where he crushed cars with people still inside, right? But all throughout that, Wraith had a lot of hope within him, right? And I thought for a while maybe I should put him with the Blue Lanterns, right? But then I thought about it for a bit. I thought about it for some more. I thought, hey, maybe Wraith deserves to be with the Red Lanterns, right? Because what the catalyst for him joining up and grouping up with the entity, right, and joining the fog and going into the fog and all that was the fact that he gave into his rage and brutally murdered his boss Azarov. I think that's his name. He murdered his boss Azarov in a great rage. He gave into his rage, he gave into his anger, and that's exactly what the Red Lanterns are all about. They're all about, like, no matter who you are, like Guy Gardner was a character. He was a Green Lantern originally, but then the Red Lantern, a Red Ring found him and forced him to give into his rage, right? The rage that was always there. I feel like Wraith is perfect for that, where, like, he's one of the more tragic Red Lanterns that now that he has this ring, he cannot help himself. He has to give into his rage no matter what. So I believe Wraith is a good, tragic Red Lantern, so that's where I'm going to put him. He is with the Red Lanterns. Next up is Hillbilly, and oddly enough, Hillbilly I say goes with the Red Lanterns too, because like he willingly gives into his rage. He's like the more prominent Red Lanterns you see out there, where like he is so angry in his lore with his parents, everything he did on that farm where he murdered his parents for what they did to him, he murdered the cops for turning a blind eye, he murdered everybody, right? I believe Hillbilly deserves to be in the Red Lanterns simply for the fact that he gave into his rage and he did so willingly, and he would do so again willingly if he had the chance. Nurse, I'd say Yellow Lantern, simply for the fact that the massacre she committed on everybody was like, it was done, it caused people to fear. Like, she didn't, like, the massacre didn't, like, go, like, from what I remember, it didn't go to, like, her being a Red Lantern or her, like, from a place of selfishness or anything like that. So, however, she did do a horrible and bad thing. So I believe she would be a great Yellow Lantern for the fact that she does instill fear into people, and she instills fear into the community. The moment Survivor remains, hear the yeah from her teleportation powers, you guys feel real fear too. So I believe that Nurse belongs in the Yellow Lantern simply for the fact that she knows how to instill fear into people. Michael Myers, also a fear. He is great at making people feel afraid. He is great at, like, he is evil incarnate. That's how he's described. He's evil incarnate. He has no motive for doing any of this. He has no selfish motives. He is not angry. He is not greedy. He is just evil incarnate, and for that reason, I believe he belongs either with the Yellow Lanterns or the Black Lanterns. I'm putting him in the Yellow Lanterns because I have, like, a few people in mind for the Black Lanterns, right? That would be great. That would be, like, amazing candidates for the Black Lanterns. But for right now, I'm putting Michael Myers in the Yellow Lanterns. I think he's great for that, basically for the fact that he makes people afraid, and he's not even trying. As for Hag, I believe she make our first Green Lantern, right? Because I remember her lore where, like, she was a super religious person. She was incredibly religious. She had a lot of faith and all that, and then something happened. Somehow she got in with, like, a bunch of, like, with a cannibalistic cult. They were about to eat her, but then she called upon the entity. I see within her story something happening to the point where, like, she was, like, a Green Lantern ring comes out of nowhere, imbues itself onto her hand, and she becomes a Green Lantern right before she was able to call on the entity, and that's how she defeated the cannibals instead. I know it's a stretch. I know at that point we're just writing fan fiction and stuff, what's there, but, like, the way she goes about it in her lore and all that, and the way and what she does now, I believe, like, one, it's all unwilling. I feel like she has a great heart. She has, like, a great personality. She's, like, a good person deep down, right? And, like, this is one of those cases where the entity is forcing her to do all this stuff. So I believe that the Hag would be a great Green Lantern, or one of the good Lanterns, right? She would be on the side of good. So I believe we should give her a Green Lantern just for that alone. The Doctor is going to be our first Black Lantern. the Doctor is insane. He loves torturing people, right? He loves torturing people. He's the Doctor. Like he loves torturing people so much that the entity itself had to hold him back from how much he loves torturing people. Like the images from his tome is insane. Where like he's peeling off fingernails and like peeling off skin, but not quite killing people. It's insane. The Doctor is so insane. I believe that he belongs with the Black Lanterns simply because of like how insane. Like I'm going to say insane a lot for this guy because he is. He is like the way he tortures people, the extent to which he tortures people, all that. I believe he deserves a Black Lantern ring just for that. I believe he deserves to be one of our many Black Lanterns that we're going to have on here today. Now, as for Huntress, I put her with the Star Sapphire Corps. I believe Huntress. So I wanted to put her with the Green Lanterns, right? Because like Huntress, despite everything, her willpower is strong. She has a great willpower. She has enough willpower, like on the level of some Green Lanterns without the rings, right? I love her. She she would definitely be a Green Lantern. However, the thing you need to know about like the Star Sapphires and the emotion of love that they convey is it's not like it's not just love between a boyfriend and girlfriend or a parent and a daughter or a mother and a daughter, right? It's like an almost sort of sadistic love too, and like a unhealthy love, a toxic love. All the yanderes you guys know and love from like all the animes and all that, they'd be a part of the Star Sapphire Corps. That's what I'm trying to get at here. And I believe Huntress exudes that perfectly because, one, it was her mother's love. That was the reason she was able to fight on, right? Because her mother sacrificed herself or, like, died. But it was her mother's love that, like, caused her to, like, keep going. It's her mother's lullaby that she was always singing to Huntress with love. That kept Huntress going. And then, in the end, like, more towards the end of her lore and all that, where, like, she's kidnapping children and all that, she kidnaps children out of love or what she believes to be love. Right? Maybe she is not a bit misguided. She is completely misguided in her ways, but it is out of love. And sure, those children did die eventually of starvation because she didn't know how to feed them. But like Huntress, in her twisted mind, fully believed that this was love she was giving. I believe she's the perfect like candidate for like the darker side of the Sapphire Corps, where like all the love they feel is like obsessive love or quite dangerous and toxic love. I feel like Huntress exudes that greatly. So Huntress is going to the Star Sapphire Corps. Bubba, or the Leatherface from the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, I'm putting him with the Indigo Tribe alongside Trapper because Bubba has no idea what he was doing right within the core, within like the Texas Chainsaw. Well, he had an idea what he was doing, but like he was at the will. He's always at the will of somebody. He's at the will of his family or at the will of the entity. He doesn't really make his own decisions. He just does this horrible stuff because he wants to be loved and validated and feel good and all that, right? So I believe Leatherface deserves to be on the Star Sapphire Corps to make up for his sins, right? Because like he didn't do it necessarily to instill great fear. He didn't do it out of like a greediness, and he didn't do it out of rage, and he didn't do it because he loves death, right? He didn't do it for any of those other reasons. So I believe. But he's still a bad guy. He still did a lot of bad things, and he doesn't like exude hope or will or love or anything like that. So I believe he deserves to be on the Indigo Tribe simply because he needs to know what everyone else felt like. Whenever he did those horrible things, he needs to have a bit of empathy, not a bit of empathy, a lot of empathy to feel everything those people felt. And I believe he has a chance to do good here too. Like just a mindset switch is just enough for him to like do a lot of good. So yeah, Bubba, he gets to go onto the Indigo Tribe or the Compassion place. Now, Freddy Krueger, I believe, deserves a Yellow Lantern ring simply for the fact that like nightmares cause fear. It's the simple fact that he causes a lot of fear in both iterations of both the remake and the original era, right? Like I don't think much really needs to be said about it. Like he did it out of anger, right? He was angry at like those kids' parents for like burning them and all that. He did it out of this weird selfish greed, but like I believe fear and those ideas of like nightmares and all that, and like how he's the embodiment of a nightmare. I believe just for that Freddy Krueger deserves to be up and deserves to be on the fear, deserves to be on the Yellow Lanterns simply for that. Now, the pig. I believe she deserves to be our first Orange Lantern character. Honestly, like looking at her lore and all that within like the Saw universe and all that, I believe Okay, I'm sorry. This is unscripted. If you couldn't tell. So for Pig, I believe she deserves to be on the Orange Lanterns because simply she went against Jigsaw's. I forgot his real name, but like she went against Jigsaw's like entire thing, and decided in her own for her own selfish desires to kill people on purpose to make sure that those traps were inescapable, and to make sure that those people were punished for their sins for her own selfish desires. Right? It was a very selfish thing for her to do to go against Jigsaw like that. So I believe Amanda deserves to be in the Orange Lanterns because of like how greedily and how selfishly she did that for, you know? So the clown. I also unironically believe the clown deserves to be in the Orange Lanterns too, because everything he did was he's very selfish. Like his actions are very selfish. He takes fingers for himself. He murdered people and birds for himself, right? Like he didn't do it necessarily to make people feel afraid or anything like that. He did instill a lot of, he did instill a lot of fear into people. However, I believe the Orange Lantern is just better for like the sake, like he's always taking some. He's taking fingers. He stole birds for a bit. Like he killed birds and like took them for a bit. Like everything else, it was like for his own selfish and twisted desire. So I believe that the clown deserves to be in the Orange Lanterns just for that. The Spirit, Rin Yamaoka, obviously, Red Lanterns, her entire MO, her entire thing is rage and anger and feeling all this anger towards her dad, towards life, towards those bullies that were beating the crap out of her, right? I believe she deserves to be in a Red Lantern, as a Red Lantern, like that, like she is like the quintessential Red Lantern, like her rage and all that, she gives in constantly, her entire thing. I don't need to explain more of it, but yeah. Now, as for Legion, I'd say we should go with both. I think both being like, this is hard for me because there's four of them, right? So I believe that Joey and the other one, what was her name again? Legion members names DVD. So I believe Frank and Julie. I believe Frank and Julie should be the Orange Lanterns, right? Frank and Julie should be the Orange Lanterns. They deserve to be on the Orange Lantern team because everything they did in their stories was purely for them. They manipulated Susie and Frank. They manipulated Susie and Frank in order to like do like various horrible things to people, to murder all those people, to do all that stuff. So I believe Frank and Julie deserve to be Orange Lanterns because they were very greedy in like their ways and like what they've done, right? However, I believe Joey and Susie, I believe they deserve green or blue. I believe I'm going to give both of them the Green Lanterns because like they've shown iron strong will, and like they've shown a great, like in times like because like the thing, okay, actually, you know what, okay, screw that, they're not going Green Lanterns. I'm doing this on the whim. I have like a tier list up here. I don't know if like if like it was shown in the edit at the beginning, right? But like I have a tier list up here of like all of like the Green Lanterns, and like I'm like switch them as I can. I'm going to put actually Joey and Susie in the Star Sapphire Corps. Actually, I'm going to put both Joey and Susie in the Star Sapphire Corps because everything they did out of a love, or what they thought was a love for their friends, right? And their friends greedily used that love to manipulate them. So I think that fits. So Frank and Julie, they are the Orange Lanterns for like manipulating Susie and Joey for like incredibly selfish reasons, and doing stuff they want and doing stuff for their own selfish reasons. And then Susie and Joey, they go in the Star Sapphire Corps because their love for Frank and Julie ultimately is what got them, like, is what sent them down the wrong path, essentially. It was their love, it was that love, and I believe that kind of love is what belongs on the Star Sapphire Corps. So next up is the Plague, and the Plague is also going in the Star Sapphire Corps because, honestly, like everything she did in her like war, it was for the love of her people, right? She sacrificed herself because she loved her people that much, right? The reason she is here in the entity's realm is because she called out to her gods, and the entity answered, and it dragged her here into the realm where she has to like be a killer for all of eternity, right? So I believe the Star Sapphire Corps is actually perfect because it was a love for her people that drove her to do all of these things to herself. So yeah, she deserves to be in the Star Sapphire Corps. I don't think much else needs to be said. Ghostface, honestly, I believe he deserves to be in the Indigo tribe simply because he simply because of like the sadistic pleasure he takes out of killing his people, out of killing people, right? Like he like his lore like this is all a game to him, right? He doesn't take this seriously. Like the weight of it all doesn't really register with him. Where everyone else who isn't on like this, who isn't on the Indigo tribe, like Frank and Julie, right? Or freaking the pig or anyone like that, like anyone who else, any like bad guy who isn't on the Indigo tribe, right? They all sort of like they all sort of understand the weight of killing, except for like maybe the doctor. They all understand like the weight of killing. They just don't care. It doesn't even register with him from what I've read. He kills people and he thinks it's a game. He thinks this is fun. He doesn't. None of the consequences of his actions really register with him enough to where he can care or where he cannot care, right? Like it doesn't register with him at all, and I feel like for that alone, he deserves to be on the Indigo tribe, so it can register with him, and not only register with him, but like also so he can feel that sort of guilt and sort of feel the pain he's inflicted onto others. I believe for that, this version of Ghostface deserves to be on the Indigo tribe. The Demogorgon, also the Indigo tribe, because he's a lackey, much for the same reason why I put Leatherface with the Indigo tribe, right? I feel like he is a lackey, so he needs to know exactly what others went through, and so maybe he could start reforming himself. So for that reason, Demogorgon goes into the Indigo tribe. Now, the Oni is up next, and I believe he deserves in the Red Lanterns. He deserves to be in the Red Lanterns. Like that is obvious. That much is obvious. I don't know what else I need to say. Like rage within the Yamaokas is like a big thing within them, right? So to put them anywhere else outside of the Red Lanterns is like a crime. I'm not going to explain myself further. Up next is Deathslinger, and Deathslinger's also going in the Red Lanterns, if for nothing else because like in his lore he's given into his rage constantly. Like he is angry, he's constantly going after revenge. One of the last things he does is seek revenge on the guy who bought like the bounty hunting place he was with. Like he's like a revenge seeker. He's an angry person. He's an angry man who's trying to, punish his bullies and all that, right? So for constantly giving into his rage, I'm going to give him the Red Lantern ring. Next up is Pyramid Head, and obviously he has to go on the Black Lanterns because like he is a concept. The entirety of Silent Hill, he is a part of the entirety of Silent Hill, and that is a concept of like punishment and execution and all that, and like death. He is a concept that solely is like rooted in death. He is rooted in death, so to put him anywhere else besides the Black Lanterns is kind of insane. Now, for the Blight, I'm between the Orange Lanterns and the Indigo tribe, right? Because the Blight's a weird one because like he's greedy, right? He is greedy solely for he experiments with like the blighted serum and all that. He is addicted to the blighted serum, but like it's also kind of not his fault either. He is just an addiction, and can't really judge someone based off of their addiction. So like I think we'll keep him in orange for right now, right? But like I might like later on change my mind like in the middle of this tier list and say, you know what, I'm going to put him back with the Indigo tribe. So who knows? But for right now, I'm going to put him with the orange lands purely because like he's greedy, and like he's greedy for like a blighted serum, and like he's greedy to see. He doesn't care about any other killer on this place. He will without their consent inject him with the blighted serum just because he wanted to, for selfish reasons, because he wanted to like see what would happen. Now, the next up is the twins. You might be thinking I'd put him with the Star Sapphire tribe, right? Or not Star Sapphire tribe, the Star Sapphire Corps, right? Because their story is steeped and like rooted in this idea of love, Victor and Charlotte's love for each other, right? But actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to put them in the Blue Lanterns, mainly because Charlotte is a great contender for every single like Lantern Corps, right? Every single good Lantern Corps, right? She showed an iron strong will, right? Whenever Victor died, she showed an iron strong will to just keep going. And then I already gave you guys why the Star Sapphire Corps would be great, right? Because she shows love. But honestly, I'm gonna put her in the Blue Lantern Corps because you need a lot of hope. Hope towards what? Who knows? But you need a lot of hope in order to have such an iron strong will or have a great love for your brother like that, right? Honestly, I've been thinking about this for a while. Like ever since I got this idea to do it, one of my first thoughts was Charlotte is the Blue Lanterns because the Blue Lanterns are unironically my favorite Lantern Corps out of every Corps. I love the Blue Lanterns. I love Saint Walker, and her and Saint Walker's stories have like a lot of parallels in the sense that they both went through some insanely hardships, right? So just for that, I'm putting her on the Blue Lanterns because she showed a lot of hope too. She showed that what she went through had to take a lot of hope. Otherwise, where would she have gotten the will to live and even survive? And where would she have gotten such love for her brother? So, yeah. Now, next up is the Trickster, and he's immediately going with the Orange Lanterns, the greedy people, because his story is essentially how he was a part of a group. He hated how much attention they were getting, so he let them die in a fire. What else do I need to say? The next up is Nemesis. I'm going to put him on the Indigo Tribe because he is also, much like the Demogorgon, a lackey. He has no idea what is going through, what is happening. He just knows he needs to kill these people, certain people, and that's it. He has no idea what he's doing is wrong or right. So put him on the Indigo Tribe. Give him that Indigo Lantern ring. I don't think they have rings. I don't think the Indigo Tribe has rings, but put him on the Indigo Tribe. Let him feel the pain that he has caused others, and let's give him a chance to reform, like truly reform. Next up is the Cenobite, and surprise, surprise, he's going in the Black Lanterns because he is literally a demon from hell who, like, much like frickin' the Doctor, he takes a lot of pleasure in other people's pain. There's a lot of explicit implications with his films. Let's just put Pinhead with the Black Lanterns because he takes a lot of pleasure from pain and death and all that. So yeah. Next up is the Artist, and honestly, it's between the Blue Lanterns and the Green Lanterns because she exuded a lot of hope when the pigeons came, but everything she went through took a lot of will too. So I think we'll put her alongside the Hag with the Green Lanterns to be our first true Green Lantern, right? Because the Hag, I have to argue why she's with the Green Lanterns. With the Artist, I don't have to argue. It took a lot of will. It took so much willpower to go through what the Artist went through in her story. So yeah, let's give her the Green Lantern ring because to make her our first true Green Lantern that we don't have to argue. Sadako is going in the Yellow Lanterns. I believe she exudes a lot of fear. She is scary looking, and her main goal is just to scare people so hard they have a heart attack. I haven't watched those movies. I barely know enough to counter. She didn't go into the I don't know tier. So, but yeah, let's just put her up there with the fear people. She knows how to exude and give out great fear amongst people. Now for the Dredge. Honestly, I'd put him with the Black Lanterns too. Honestly, his entire thing is he's the amalgamation of an entire dead town put into one. So yeah, why not? Let's just do that. Let's just put him. Let's do it. Next up is Wesker, and unironically, I'd put him in the Indigo Tribe. If you want to know his non-Indigo if you want to know what his non-Indigo Lantern Corps would be, I'd personally say maybe greed, maybe fear, because his motivations in the games aren't out of selfishness, right? So maybe not greed, but I put him either in fear. I put him in the Yellow Lanterns, but honestly for final Lantern Corps, I put him in the Indigo Tribe simply because he's done a lot of wrong, and so let's make him feel all of the wrong he has done. Simple as that. But if you want to know his non-Indigo counterpart, it'd be the Yellow Lanterns. He exudes a lot of fear. He is the quintessential Yellow Lantern. But honestly, to make things interesting, I'm putting him in the Indigo Tribe. Next up is the Knight, and honestly, I put him in the Star Sapphire Corps because mainly for one aspect of his lore, which is the fact that it was all for his homies, right? He did a lot of stuff out of love for his friends and his homies, right? So we're just gonna put him in the Star Sapphire Tribe. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Just friendship carries you a lot of the way. He has a lot of love for his friends, so let's just put him in the Star Sapphire Tribe. Why not? Next up is the Skull Merchant, and honestly, I'm just putting her in the Yellow Lanterns because I don't know much about her lore, and honestly, I should put her in the I don't know tab, but let's just put her in the Yellow Lantern Corps because she does a lot of fear and all that. Maybe she's a orange. I don't know. I don't care that much about her. I don't care that much about her lore, so let's just put her in the Yellow Lantern tier. So next up is the Singularity. Essentially, he's Am from I Have No Mouth, I Must Scream. He hates humanity with a burning passion, and all that hatred turns into rage. like it turns into rage. Like he's angry. He is angry. He is like really angry at humanity, and that is his sole intent is to destroy humanity because he's angry. So screw it, rage. Why not? If he's so angry, let's put him in the rage category. Next up is Xenomorph, and he's also going in Indigo Tribe. Mainly because he's also a lackey. He probably knows exactly what he's doing. In fact, he probably knows exactly what he's doing. But like honestly, like he is like a part of the hive mind. He is a part of the queen. He only serves his queen, right? So let's put him in the Indigo Tribe. Let's have him see what he's done wrong. Yada yada yada. Yeah. Chucky, I'd say greed, but like not like he wants to hoard something, like because like, but mostly because he's greedy with life, right? Throughout the entire films, right, the reason why he puts himself into a doll with that ritual is because he's trying to live and extend his life for very selfish reasons. Instead of realizing that, hey, I lost, instead he decides to go out and just do that. He decides to go out and just be like, hey, no, screw that. I'm staying alive and I'm going to kill for my own selfish reasons, right? He has no reason to kill, but like he's doing it for his own selfish reasons at the same time, if that makes sense. Chucky is the Orange Lantern. It just feels right. Chucky in the Orange Lantern just feels right. Next up is the Unknown, and I'd also give the Unknown a Black Lantern ring, simply because we don't know much about him and the way he kills, and honestly that feels like a unique kind of Black Lantern where everyone else is obsessed with death. We have no idea what about death he has, or what his motive for death is, or anything like that, or why he kills people. He just does it, and like we truly don't know. Right, so for that, I'm putting the Unknown in the Black Lantern category. Next up is Vecna. He's also going to Black Lanterns purely because he's a necromancer. Necromancers love death. The Black Lanterns are a bunch of necromancers who raise the dead, so he's perfect. Honestly, he's the best out of every Black Lantern I've chosen. He is the best so far. So yeah, let's do that. Next up is the Houndmaster, and honestly, I'm putting her in the Green Lantern category because like, it was either that or the Red Lanterns, and we have a lot of Red Lanterns, so let's put her in the Green Lanterns. So she, like, her lore, Houndmaster's lore is like one of great will. She was trapped on an island. She thought she lost her dog and all that. She went through a lot of stuff, and it took great will to overcome it and get on that pirate ship and just go out and like just start killing people and all that, right? She showed a great will and a great aptitude for will, and for those reasons, I'm gonna put her in the Green Lantern. She is a good Green Lantern, right? The artist is the best, but like she would be a second best, honestly. Next up is Springtrap, and he's going to be a Black Lantern because him and the Doctor, right, are going, because like the Black Hand was like one of the first Black Lanterns, right? I think it's the Black Hand. I think Black Hand DC. So yeah, Black Lantern, if I remember correctly, the Black Hand was like just your average serial killer, right? He was insane. He loved death. He was obsessed with death. He was a serial killer. He didn't have any special powers, much like the rest of like the people we have here on our Black Lantern tier, right? But the Black Hand was obsessed with death and obsessed with killing people. He was a serial killer, right? Then he died, and then he came back to life and became the Black Lantern. I see William Afton being like the perfect Black Lantern, where he killed children. He had an obsession with just murdering children no matter what. Children were his main demographic. He just killed children a lot. And then he died and came back, and he always comes back. So I believe that during one of those times where William Afton comes back, it's because he became the arbiter of the Black Lanterns. Not because he had powers, but because he just loved killing children so much. And that's the ultimate thing. Children are a future. They are the beginning of life. So if you take the beginning of life away, all of a sudden you get a Black Lantern. So William Afton, to me, is like the perfect, like next to Vecna, right? Because Vecna is a necromancer. Next to Vecna and William Afton, they're both the best candidates for, like, in my opinion, the Black Lanterns. So, out of everyone who is a good Lantern, so we're going to count, like, Love, Hope, and Will. So, out of everyone I nominated for Love, Hope, and Will, who do I say would be a great White Lantern, honestly? Without a doubt, Charlotte. They'd be a great, like, White Lantern. They'd be a great Kyle Rayner figure, kind of, you know, where, like, their hope. And, like, everything that happened to them is a tragedy. And I believe if they were, like, treated with any modicum of respect at all, I believe they'd be, like, amazing. I believe, like, they would have been good people. They wouldn't be killers here, right? So I believe that Charlotte and Victor would be the greatest White Lanterns out there, right? And yeah. So yeah, this is it. This is the list that we have. yeah, this is the list. I like it. I like what I've done with it so far, and yeah. Thank you for watching, folks, and yeah. If you want me to do Survivors next, I can't. Someone else is gonna have to do Survivors because like I don't know any lore on the Survivors. I know the lore of like the main five people and then the trans nurse character, right? And honestly, I love that character's like freaking lore so much. Like it got so dark so quickly. Like it was there's like you know that one part with the haunted house that was dark as all hell, and I loved it a lot. But besides, I don't know anyone else's. I don't know the person who's like a cult leader or whatever. I don't know anything else about the survivors. So someone else is gonna have to do the survivor land core. But like, if you want me to do other land core for other video games, that'd be dope. But yeah, thank you for watching. Thank you so much for giving me a chance. And yeah, happy Halloween. See you next time. Bye.